guys, it's the Retro Flora podcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Charmy, and we're just two crazy sisters with an opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracies, and supernatural crap, then this is your channel. Welcome, it's August, you guys.
Yeah, it is. It's like this year's almost over. Already seeing Halloween stuff in the stores.
So crazy. Okay, like you guys, I'm a big fan of Halloween. I love me some spooky, scary
skeletons.
I couldn't think of the word skeletons. And I'm all for it, you know, in September. But August is too early. Like, I don't think we need 3 months of Halloween. Yeah, we don't even get that many months of Christmas, and that's the most, like, expensive and celebrated holiday. Well, I guess technically Halloween's not a holiday, but I consider it a holiday, even though I have to work on that day.
Yeah, it sucks.
But I get to dress up on that day, and we potluck, so... Well, today I finally did a little research on something. I don't know what I was looking on. I think I might have been on TikTok. I saw like a TikTok about this. But I am going to talk about time slips today.
And without further ado, let's get into this.
A time slip, or temporal displacement / time warp, is a phenomenon where an individual or group of people claim to have temporarily traveled through time. They experience a sudden shift in time and space.
That reminds me of the song Time Warp.
Let's do the time warp again. Yeah, I guess that's Halloween theme too. I can't wait to play. I guess I can play that song this month. People who have claimed to have experienced them describe them as a feeling of being transported to a different time period or location, or even just a glimpse into a time period, past or future. People who have experienced time slips say they notice a significant difference in their surroundings. The architecture, clothing style, vehicles, and ambience are different. Time slips usually last from a few seconds to a few hours. People who have claimed to experience it say they felt disoriented or confused about the sudden change in environment. According to vcorner.medium.com, there are two types of scientific explanations. The first explanation is quantum mechanics.
Oh my god, when you said quantum mechanics, I was thinking about the Big Bang Theory and Penny.
Physicists and quantum mechanics.
No, for real. Literally, this whole scientific explanation, all I thought of was the Big Bang Theory and how Sheldon could probably explain it to me, but it might take all day.
Yeah.
The way he goes at teaching, go all the way back to before Christ. Like, dang. Yeah. Quantum mechanics is a branch of physics that deals with the behavior of matter and energy at the atomic and subatomic levels. You guys, I'm not a scientist, so I tried to break this down as best as I understood it, so bear with me. There are two types of quantum mechanic theories. We have a collapse of a wave function, which according to this theory, the collapse of a wave function can cause a sudden shift in the probability of an event occurring, causing a sudden change in a person or group of people's perception of time. Basically, it's saying that because of the collapse of a wave function, it kind of like shifts a person's perception of time and space.
So they actually didn't go back in time? It just seems like they did?
Yeah.
I thought these people were claiming that they actually did go back in time or something.
Well, I'm breaking it down to a scientific explanation. You know, we still haven't talked about the paranormal explanation and then another explanation.
Okay.
The other theory is the parallel universe theory, which according to this theory, there are many universes, and time slips are caused by a person or group crossing over into a parallel universe, which I think is self-explanatory. Basically, they crossed over
to the other side.
Yeah, so like they crossed over to maybe what over in that universe's time period looks like, but for us it's the past. Or if time isn't linear, they really could have just jumped into another parallel universe's time. It's not linear, so it's not going like forward like we think time is.
Yeah. This is why I don't like time travel and time travel stories, because
I love them. I want time travel to be real.
They make me so confused.
I need time travel to be real because I need to go back to the 80s and party with my parents. I just gotta do it. And I gotta party with my great grandparents and grandparents, because I gotta see how they was getting down. I know they was turning up.
I'm good in the time I'm in.
No, I mean, I'm not going back before the 60s. Sorry, you guys. I'm a black woman, so that's definitely not happening. It's nothing else
I'm black
out there
and
for
a
me.
woman. I ain't going nowhere.
Right. I can't do a lot of things, so I'm going to stay in the safest time periods I know.
Which is 2000.
The next scientific explanation is the general relativity theory. Which also makes me think of the Big Bang Theory, which is a theory of gravitation that was discovered by Albert Einstein. According to this theory, gravity is not a force between masses, but the curvature of space-time caused by the presence of a massive object or objects. It is theorized that time slips may be a result of the warping of space-time, and because of the presence of a massive, like a black hole or a neutron star. So you haven't seen Interstellar, but like in this movie, you see it's not so much time traveling in a sense, but it is time traveling in a sense. The closer you get to a black hole, the slower time moves.
It is,
yeah. Since the gravity around a black hole is intense and could cause a major warping of space-time, causing a sudden shift in a person or group's perception of time and space. In the neutron star theory, a neutron star, which are extremely dense objects that have masses similar to the sun, can create intense gravity and a strong magnetic field, which can cause the warping of space-time that can lead to the sensation of a time slip.
But if that were to happen, and wouldn't that happen to a whole bunch of people in the same area? Like, it wouldn't just happen to one person in that area.
I was thinking that too. I'm not so sure how that would happen to just one person.
Yeah. I feel like that would affect not only that person, but people around them too.
Right. And I don't know so much about gravity and black holes, and I don't know like if a black hole needs to be a certain size for that to happen, because like I don't know if there are microscopic black holes out there. Like I don't know if that would be a reason why that happens to just an individual person. I don't know, because girl, just looking at the theories and black holes and neutron stars, I'm just like, no thank you.
Now I'm thinking about Treasure Planet and that black hole scene.
Yeah,
that was kind of sad.
Yeah, it was sad and low-key kind of scared. Made me so scared of black holes.
It made me scared of space.
It made me just think black holes just appear out of nowhere. Like, I mean, in a sense they do, because we can't really see them and trace them. But like, I just thought I could be sitting in the living room and a black hole just open up in my living room. Like, I was terrified.
There's a lot about that movie that didn't make sense. Like, how was a spaceship in space? I mean, the spaceship was like a pirate ship, but in space.
Yeah, a lot of, unless they're, I guess,
force field.
Force field is like paper, microscopic thin. I don't know.
I was like, this is very weird.
It's cool though. So that's the scientific explanation of what could be
time slips.
Yeah. This is the paranormal explanation. So the paranormal explanation for time slips are time portals. In this theory, time slips are caused by spiritual entities such as a ghost or spirits. Some people believe that the spirits can interact with the present and cause a shift in time and space, leading to the sensation of a time slip. Others believe that certain spiritual practices like meditation or lucid dreaming can open a gateway to other dimensions.
I like the science ones better.
I like the paranormal one better.
I've meditated before and all I've done is fall asleep.
Maybe it's more like, maybe that's why you're not really pushing past the breaker's period. It's like that runner's high. Like, yeah, if you don't push past it, you're gonna just collapse. But you push past it, supposedly it's like this amazing high. Well, I guess I meditated, but I've never really done lucid dreaming like that. Like, have I been in a dream and known I was in a dream? Yeah, but like it was never like I was going to sleep like I'm going to control this dream. Like, it just so happened.
I try to control my dreams. It never works out.
When I control my dreams, it seems like my mind battles me even more. Like,
yes.
I'll stop something and then it'll like make it so it keeps coming, so I have to like really press against myself to stop it from happening.
Yeah, or like in my dreams when I'm fighting somebody, it comes out really slow.
Right.
I get so mad because I'm like, I know I can punch faster than this.
What really pisses me off is in my dreams, sometimes I can't read text, and it's like I know what it's saying, but I can't read it, and it's frustrating to me.
It's like Simlish.
Pretty much.
You know what it's saying, but it's not words.
Right. I have no idea. Like, I'm like reading something, and I'm like, I know what it's saying, but like, why can I not actually read this? Yeah, it's frustrating. And last but not least, there are two psychological explanations: deja vu and hallucinations. So most people know what deja vu is, but if you're not familiar with the term, it's basically the sensation of experiencing a situation that feels familiar, but this is the first time you're experiencing it. For example, going to a place for the first time but feeling like you've been here before. So basically deja vu, if you don't know. So in this theory, time slips are a result of a glitch in the brain's memory system. They believe time slips may be an extreme form of deja vu. And in this sensation, you're basically feeling like you're being transported to a different time period or location. So like people who've had like past lives, they're saying like in their time slippage when they slipped into the time period and they're like, oh, I saw like people dressed in like the 1930s clothing walking around. It's like, that's apparently you in the 1930s. Maybe you died early or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So that's one of the theories, is deja vu. The next theory is hallucinations, which might probably be just what what logically might make the most sense.
Hallucinating.
But basically, some people believe that time slips are results of hallucinations or other forms of altered states of consciousness. For example, like sleep deprivation, medications, and some mental disorders like schizophrenia. Researchers say psychological conditions of hallucination can cause a person to experience a sudden shift in time and space, causing a person to experience the sensation of a time slip. You know, when I'm thinking of other altered states of consciousness, I'm thinking of like different spiritual rituals where they like take like drugs and they go into the altered state. I wonder if they slip into different time periods, because supposedly
that's just hallucination.
Yeah, right, but that's what we're talking about, hallucinations. So I think of like DMT. Like, I've never experienced DMT. People who have experienced DMT said it's supposed to like unlock a certain part of your mind, and you are able to like astral project basically and stuff like that, and see other dimensions and stuff like that. But in reality, like,
you're just
scientifically, it would be like people would be like, you're hallucinating, like you took a drug and it's altered your state of mind, so they're gonna say you're hallucinating. Could you be doing all that stuff? I have no idea, because I'm not gonna do it. And if that's what happens when you do it, I definitely am not comfortable leaving my body unpossessed by me. I don't know, uninhabited by me.
Demons and stuff can get in.
Yeah, I'm not willing to do that. But like, if that's what happens, that's crazy. Like, to be able to go into different dimensions by a drug using your mind is kind of crazy. Like, I don't know how you got out of space and time. Like,
the drugs, man.
The drugs, man. I guess they just pull you out of space and time. Before I jump into like the well-known time slip stories, I'm gonna just tell you 2 other stories that I thought were very interesting. So basically, Saturday, July 7th, 1996, an off-duty.
That's when I was born. Well, I wasn't born that day.
I was born that year. Yes, it's Charmy's birthday year. An off-duty police officer named Frank was planning to go to a Dillon's bookshop to meet his wife, and like on his way there, he got hit by a small like
truck.
Dude, he said he got hit by a small 1950s van. So I don't know like how that happened, but he said that's what he got hit by. So this is before he even got hit. He said he saw a 1950s van. He said that the van driver like sounded the horn and everything like that, and he realized that the road he was at was like totally different. He said people were dressed in like 1940s and 1950 clothing.
What if it's just like back in the day party?
Well, he just walked in on
the
it.
1940s, 50s party.
Was it in color?
We should do that black and white.
We just all dressed in black and white.
Yeah.
Make our face makeup make us look like we're in black and white. Like, what was that movie, Pleasantville?
Yeah.
And so he was like confused. He's looking around like, why is everybody dressed like this? You know what I mean? He didn't get the memo about the party apparently. And so he saw this girl, and she was wearing like what looked like modern day clothing to him. So he ended up following her, and she was going into the shop that he was supposed to meet his wife in. So he ended up going in there, and she's looking at him like, sir, why are you following me? And then he gets in there, and everything's like back to normal.
But was she still dressed?
She was dressed in modern time. The reason he followed her was because she was dressed what was modern for him.
So this dude's going to this place with his wife. On his way, he gets hit by a 1950s truck.
He claims that he got hit by a 1950s truck.
And then he looks around and he sees people in old-timey
like
clothing.
Yeah, he gets up, like the truck like hits him. I don't think it hit him to like where he flew. I just like lightly tapped him, and like it like honked its horn at him and drove off. And he got up and he was just like, what the heck, and kept walking. He started to notice that everybody was dressed differently,
and he followed this one girl
who was dressed in clothing that was similar to what he knew like was modern
like 1990s clothing.
90s clothing, yeah.
And he followed her to a shop.
The shop, yeah.
And everything went back to normal.
Yeah, he said as soon as he walked in there. And the girl claimed that she was kind of just like, why are you following?
I would feel the same way.
Yeah, I would feel the same way too. Like, what's going on with you? But yeah, that's what he claimed happened.
It still could have been like back in the days party. Because I want to do a decades party one time.
Okay, so this next story takes place on the evening of June 28th, 1812. Around like 7 or 8 p.m. And this guy named Anthony Jackson, and he was 45, and his son, well, I don't know if it's his son. I just assume it's his son because it says 15-year-old Martin Turner. So I just assumed that was his son, even though they don't even have the same last name. So, I don't know why this older man is with this young boy. Maybe uncle and nephew. I don't know.
That's very weird.
They were in this field of, I don't know how to say this, but some Havara Park near Ripley, Yorkshire. I'm sorry if I butchered that. If you know what it is, Please don't come for me. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. So Turner, who's the 15-year-old boy, cried to the 45-year-old boy. I mean, man. He was like, boy. Lord bless us, because they thought they heard like wild beasts running towards them, right? And you know, it's 1800, so I don't really know what's going on in England over there, but like apparently
I know what wild beasts are running out there.
Apparently wild beasts are out there. They're like, oh my god, like what's going on? These beasts are running in the field or whatever. And then they turn around and they're like, that's not beast. And they look and they see it's not beast, but on the summit of a hill there appears to be bodies of soldiers in white uniforms. They were being commanded by a figure in like a scarlet uniform, and they were marching in different formations and whatever, and they passed by the 45 and 15-year-old. And then a second army came dressed in dark uniforms and appeared behind the first army in like an L shape. And then there was like no hostility between us. They weren't fighting or anything, but they could see that there was like numbers of like soldiers marching, and they're just kind of like, dude, it's 7 o'clock in the evening time. After the soldiers passed by, they said that there was something like smoke that just like a thick smoke just came, and it kind of like hid them or whatever. I don't know.
It's just a war reenactment.
Yeah. Actually, it's not. So he said that they told people that like they had seen like a phantom army, like an army of like older soldiers marching, and like I don't know what soldiers do. I guess they practice battle formations. Well, this is the 1800s, so maybe that's what they did in the 1700s or something.
Only war I could think of would be the War of the Roses between Lancasters and the Yorks.
Girl, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like some type of Game of Thrones.
That's what Game of Thrones was inspired by.
Oh, okay, because girl, I'm just like, when you said that, all I thought of was like the
Lannisters and Starks.
No, I thought of Highgarden.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, their sigil was a rose. It was a red rose and a white rose, and it ultimately ended with them putting the roses together, red and white. But yeah, that's the only thing I think of that would be a war on their land.
You should teach Game of Thrones history.
Oh my god, I should. Girl, I'm a Game of Thrones. I love me some Game of Thrones, and
she knows the characters. I'd be like, the bald dude that like got burned up, and she'll say his name. Like, yeah, him. Like, I don't know anybody's name. And so I have left the best story for last. On August 10th, 1901, Miss Elizabeth Morrison and Miss Frances Lamont were in France on holiday. They were from England. While in France, they decided to take a trip by train to go see the Palace of Versailles. They walked through the different rooms and galleries in the palace. They were exploring the garden when a feeling of dread and uneasiness descended on them. They described the atmosphere as a dreamy haze, but eerie and unpleasant. They heard strange sounds and music in the distance, and when they described the music, they described it as outdated or from another era. Sorry, I'm California. We be dragging out our accents. Our words. Era. They saw two men in what they described as strange, outdated clothing. The men were wearing long, grayish-green coats with a three-cornered hat. Said the men's faces were dark and rough. They had what they described as an evil expression. I'm just telling you what the women said, okay? As the two women, sorry, just to clarify, not the men, as the two women passed the bridge, they saw a fair-haired lady sitting and sketching in the garden. The lady turned and looked at them. She was dressed in an old-fashioned summer dress. The women eventually made their way out of the garden. They said the feeling of the atmosphere returned back to normal, and they went back to their accommodations. The oddness and strangeness of the experience stayed with them, so they later returned to the palace to retrace their steps. But what they saw when they returned shocked them. The buildings had changed, the lanes had disappeared, and there was no bridge. The whole layout was different. So the women began to do some research, and they believed that somehow they had saw the grounds as if they were in the late 1700s. And that the woman they had came across in the garden was Marie Antoinette. They decided to write a book about the whole experience, entitled it An Adventure, which was published in 1911. The two women changed their names to protect their identities because they were two highly esteemed academics. One was the principal and the other a vice principal. And they didn't want to be seen as crazy in the early 1900s. And as we know, they would put women in mental hospitals in the early 1900s.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. And I have their real names, but I'm just not going to say them, so.
I still think they're hallucinating.
Well,
I knew it was going to be something, but as soon as you said France, I knew something going to be about Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, they were saying that
but the thing is, like, with these time loops, time slips, all these people who say they have them, I've only seen the past and never the future.
Well, I saw one that saw the future, but I didn't understand the story, so I just didn't tell you it. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I read it twice, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not getting it, so I'm just not even gonna.
So it can't really say, oh, you know, they're lying, because they do actually know the history behind it.
That is true.
They just like saw like Marie Antoinette get her head cut off, like
right before Marie Antoinette got her head cut
yeah, because I kind of feel like Marie Antoinette was never alone. They wouldn't like she always.
Well,
had her
apparently
friends and stuff
those
around her.
people who were watching her got her guards, so that's why they were giving them like
looks.
What are you doing here? Looks like first of all, they're probably giving them what are they doing here looks because how they dress. Like even though I look at the people in 1900s dressed already in outdated clothes, that's even.
But what would make it really scary though if Marie Antoinette diary resurfaced and said she saw those two ladies.
Oh my god, I know, right?
That would be like,
so
oh,
scary.
heck no.
I don't want to believe that happened. Fake news.
Then I'd be like, okay, maybe there's some truth to this, and you guys weren't crazy.
So what do you think about time slips?
I think people see. I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not. I can't really say that they're lying. They could actually see it, but I don't know. I just take everything with a grain of salt.
Yes, we know. We know, Sharmy. I think it's a cool idea. Like, you know, would I ever want a time slip? If I do for maybe like 3 or 4 seconds, because I don't want to be in any time period as a black woman unless it's after the 60s.
Well, okay, yeah.
So.
Well, don't like for the last one, the girls she seemed to interact with the past, but the guys didn't. The guys in the field.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, most of the people didn't really interact with it. They just kind of saw it because they were probably so confused. Like, what is going on?
This is what y'all wear. Like we came back in the day wearing the stuff we wear now. People like these harlots,
girl. Literally,
these
that's probably why they was looking at the other ladies. Because even though in 1900s they're dressed like with a lot of clothes to us. Like maybe in the 1700s they're like
you need
in their undergarments.
We
like
can see their ankles.
Right. So they're probably just looking like hussies. Well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched voices and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel to hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. Happy August. Don't be celebrating Halloween.